My 6-year-old never asks for anything, so when she asked for Nessarose, I'm gonna make a Nessarose. I already had a doll in a wheelchair, so I headed to Michael's to find some craft supplies that I could use to make Nessarose's wheelchair because that's really important. I found a few things that were useful, so I grabbed them and went ahead and disassembled the wheelchair, and I painted it. Since I used gold mica mixed with gold paint, I decided to paint it by hand rather than airbrush because I didn't want to have to worry about cleaning glitter out of my airbrush. Next, I covered the part of the wheelchair that she sits on. Since I can't sew, I just cut out some felt and I did glue it onto the existing chair. Then I finished painting the wheelchair. I also varnished it. It's not perfect, but my 6-year-old liked it, so it's good enough for me. The next step was to make the decorations for the spokes of the wheelchair. I used some craft shapes and then covered it with a gold glitter contact paper. Then I used some coins to make some circles and cut those all out. I added them to the spokes of the wheelchair with some super glue. I realized I probably should have covered both sides of the craft shapes, but that's something that I can touch up later when I do finishing touches. I really wanted to add a little bit more detail to make them look a little more steampunk, but again, I had to remind myself that this is for a 6-year-old to play with. Next, I started on the doll. I selected a Truly Me 66 because she's a medium skin tone doll with the face mold I think is most like Nessarose. I took off all her factory paint and completely repainted her. I tried to closely replicate her Ozdust look. Then I added a Claudie wig to her, and I'm actually going to restyle it with smaller curls, but for today, this will work. And here she is. Now she is having a new dress made and I will be giving her some new shoes. But for today, I really wanted to photograph her. I got 2 thumbs up from my daughter, so I'm happy with that.